Thank you so much. We may take our seats. So before we dive into our program, I want to take the opportunity to introduce some of our dignitaries that have joined us today. We do have a chair for the event, and we will introduce her very, very shortly. But before we do that, I want to acknowledge a few people in our midst. Let me start off with the Ghana Institution of Engineering. Any council members in the house, if I can see you wave very nicely so that everybody sees you are here. Thank you so much for coming. GHIE has one of those traditions that I really appreciate, where we acknowledge our past presidents, our immediate past presidents, and our incoming presidents. So let me take an opportunity to introduce some of our past presidents who are here. Engineer Frederick Asare-Yeboah. Engineer Frederick, thank you so much. If you can give us a wave. Engineer Professor Reverend Charles Anum-Adams. Rev, thank you so much for coming. Engineer Magnus Kwashi, please give us a wave. Thank you so much. Engineer Leslie Ayi, please give us a wave. And our immediate past president, Engineer Kwabena Bempong, please give him a round of applause and give him a wave as well. Aside that as well, we also have some quite important people in our midst. Let me start off with the Registrar for the Engineering Council, Engineer Isaac Bedu. Thank you so much for joining us. I believe I have within our midst as well the Technical Advisor to the Minister of Energy, Engineer Dr. Yusuf Sulemana. Engineer Yusuf, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I believe we have the President of the Institute of Surveyors, Surveyor Kofi Obeng Ayeribi. If you're here, kindly give us a wave. Okay, so yes. And then we have a rep from the Ministry of Transport, Mr. Eric Addison. Mr. Eric Addison, are you here? Thank you so much for coming. And then we also have a rep from the Institute of Economic Affairs, Mr. Alexander Adako. Mr. Alexander Adako, if you're here, please can you give us a wave? Thank you so much. And what we will be doing is that throughout the event, we will be acknowledging more of our dignitaries as they come along, so that we know who has been invited to join us here as part of this momentous occasion. So let me start off by saying good morning, distinguished guests and members of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, industry, academia, development partners, government bodies, the media, ladies and gentlemen. I want to officially welcome you all to this official launch of the Ghana Infrastructure Report. Actually, just this Saturday, I was at the graduation ceremony for my little ones. And so it was a speech and prize giving day. And so two of my kids, one of them got best in science. Please give her a round of applause. And I say best in science, and she's in nursery too. So I don't know what the science, the science that is being done. But you know, as parents, from time to time, we receive these report cards, and it's an opportunity for us to reflect, get a sense of how our wards are performing, where they are in their life, and what we can do to help. My first one had all straight A's, but I wasn't happy because more than 50% of the grades were below 90, and I need her to get closer to the 100%, because as engineers, that's what we strive for. But what I'm trying to say is that it is very good for us to identify what else can we do to move us from a C to a B. What can we do to move us from B to B plus? What can we do to move us from a B to A? And I think that is why we are here, to give an assessment on the status of infrastructure in Ghana. And this is something that has been done many years, and I was having a chat with immediate IPP engineer Bempong on the history of infrastructure report cards. And we dated it to 1988 when it started in the US, and eventually morphed into what it is today. All over the world, from time to time, it's good for us to take a pause and say, where are we? And when we take this pause to say, where are we, it's not because we want to point fingers. If you don't know where you are, how do you improve? If you don't reflect, how do you become better? So this session here that we've come to meet is for us to assess ourselves from time to time. Governmental agencies, we do self-assessment, but sometimes it is good for externals to also assess. It's good for institutions such as ours to assess. It's good for the general public to assess where we are, so that we all have an understanding of the perception of where people think we are. It might be that we may assess and then find out that actually, in reality, we are doing better, but we've just not communicated it, so nobody actually knows what we are really doing. In Ghana, this is the third of its kind. I think there was one in 2016, and there was one in 2018. There's only two. Hey, you see, when we checked the data, it said this was the third, but this is the second. In other words, the 2018 was a version 1 of 2016. But that says a lot, which means the last time we did this infrastructure report card was 10 years ago. And I can only say that, can we do it more often than every 10 years? All right. So that is the main purpose of which we are here. I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of situate us in the thinking of what we are expecting to see here. So today's event provides us an important opportunity for us to assess the state of our national infrastructure. We need to reflect on the progress being made. We need to identify the gaps that remain. And more importantly, we need to consider the actions required to build systems that are safe, that are resilient, sustainable, and fit for Ghana's future. And you will all agree with me that this particular card is very timely. What we've gone through in the last couple of weeks, nobody knew who to blame. Is it us? Is it the engineers? Is it God? Everybody has a role to play. But it means that it's very important for us to kind of assess what we have and how will it be able to stand the test of time. If the unexpected were to happen, like what happened with the floods that we have, how is our infrastructure resilient to climate changes? This requires us all to take a pause. So on behalf of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, I warmly welcome you all and thank you so much for joining us as we assess today, inform tomorrow, and build together. So on that note, I would like to take this particular opportunity to talk about or introduce our chair for the occasion. And let me tell you a little bit about her. She graced our conference in March, and I was so excited to see her. And then when I heard she was coming today, I was even more excited. And I know she has a special place in our heart for us, because she got here before most of you did. And that is not what is commonly known. You know, usually you wait for your ministers to turn up. But there's something that is so dear and passionate to her heart that she actually got here ahead of time. And we even started some deliberation and engagement. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our chair. Our chair is an NDC Member of Parliament, Awutu Senya West, and Deputy Minister Designate for Works, Housing and Water Resources. She's a Member of Parliament for the Sunyani Awutu Senya West constituency in the Central Region of Ghana. Yes? Okay, it looks like I'm repeating myself here. She was a Member of Parliament for Awutu Senya West and served on the Appointments Committee, Works and Housing Committee, Energy Committee, and Deputy Ranking for Office for Profits Committee in the 8th Parliament of Ghana. She is an architect herself with over 28 years experience in architecture, construction, and the real estate sectors. She's a passionate, focused individual driven by the desire for value, impact, compliance, and positive results in all sectors she has been involved with. Her blend of qualifications include International Airport Professional IAP in 2017, Certified Project Management Professional PMP. She has an MBA from the University of Ghana Business School, Associate Member of the Ghana Institute of Architects, and she's a member of the Architects Registration Council. She also has a postgraduate diploma in architecture and a BSc in design from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And of course, she went to my school, Wesley Girls High School. Need I say more? Over the past 28 years, she has worked for a number of organizations in Kumasi, Environment 4, Ekufu Associates, Gold Key Properties in Accra, Zell Architects in Tema, in the housing, education, industrial, recreation, and civic sectors. She was an instructor for professional practice exams held by the Architects Registration Council. She has a rich, very, very rich experience in corporate governance in both public and private organizations, and she has served 2 terms on the Council of the Ghana Institute of Architects. She also served as the chair of the Wutu Senya District Works Subcommittee and an assembly member of the Wutu Senya District back from 2015 to 2017. She has chaired the boards of Sewage Systems Ghana Limited and Sino Africa Development Company and was an advisory board member of the Environmental and a Sanitation Group under the Jospon Group. She's passionate about women in leadership, women in politics, aviation, environmental and sustainability issues, corporate governance, policy formulation in infrastructure, mentoring, volunteering, and philanthropic work. I have the honor to invite to the stage to give us her welcome address, Honorable Mrs. Gisela Tetteh. Please give her a round of applause for me. Thank you so much, Mom, for honoring our invitation, and thank you so much for joining us.
Please sit. Please sit. Thank you very much. Good morning again, everyone. I got this nice introduction, but actually my minister, Honorable Kenneth Gilbert Ejay, should have been here, but he has a cabinet meeting. And when that happens, we the deputies get to flex a little, you see. But I know I'm at home because I'm in the built environment fraternity with you. And I'll give my official speech and I'll give a few remarks that I made earlier. I think it's in order, isn't it? It's in order. Bimpong, it's in order. Okay. We just want to make things better. And I'm curious, how come the report cards come out during the NDC regime? You have to investigate that one. If it was 2016, no, 2016 was. Okay, I have to ask. And get that clarification. I'm a politician though, and I'm not only an architect. All right. So thank you very much. These are the opening remarks on behalf of the Honorable Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources at the launch of the Ghana Infrastructure Report Card 2026. The President, Ghana Institute of Engineering, the Executive Director, distinguished engineers, representatives of development partners, officials from ministries, departments, and agencies, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. It is a profound honor to stand before you today as a special guest for the official launch of the Ghana Infrastructure Report Card 2026 under the theme, Assessing Ghana's Infrastructure Today, Shaping a Resilient Tomorrow. The Ghana Infrastructure Report Card 2026 is an initiative that has become an important benchmark for assessing the condition, performance, and readiness of our nation's infrastructure. Permit me to commend the Ghana Institution of Engineering for demonstrating leadership in producing an objective and evidence-based assessment of Ghana's infrastructure. Such independent technical evaluations are essential in guiding national decision-making, improving accountability, and ensuring that infrastructure investments deliver value for money and sustainable socio-economic developments. The theme for today's program could not have been more appropriate. Across the world, infrastructure is increasingly being tested by climate change, rapid urbanization, population growth, technological disruption, and emerging economic uncertainties. Today, infrastructure can no longer be judged merely by its physical condition or capacity. It must also be evaluated by its ability to withstand shocks, recover quickly from disasters, adapt to changing environmental conditions, and continue providing essential services to citizens. However, we cannot effectively manage what we do not measure. That is why the initiative we are gathering to launch today, the third edition of the Ghana Infrastructure Report Card, is so vital. It provides us with an independent, objective, and evidence-based mirror. It evaluates critical sectors including our roads, electric power, potable water, sanitation, housing, coastal defense, drainage, and digital infrastructure, among others. For Ghana, infrastructure resilience is no longer an option. It is a national imperative. Ladies and gentlemen, government recognizes that resilient infrastructure is the foundation upon which economic transformation, industrialization, food security, public health, and national competitiveness depend. Through the Ministry of Works, Housing, and Water Resources and other sector ministries, government continues to invest significantly in critical infrastructure across the country. Many of you are involved in supervising projects of the Big Push, so I need not elaborate much in this space. However, these include expanding and rehabilitating water supply systems to improve access to potable water, strengthening flood control infrastructure and storm drainage systems, promoting affordable housing initiatives, improving public buildings, constructing climate-resilient roads and bridges, very important, enhancing irrigation systems, and implementing integrated urban development programs that build safer and more livable communities. Our ministry is committed to ensuring that infrastructure investments are designed, constructed, and maintained, not merely to meet today's needs, but also to withstand tomorrow's challenges. Distinguished guests, Ghana's commitment to resilient infrastructure extends beyond our national borders. If I may share, as a proud member of the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, Ghana has joined a global partnership dedicated to promoting infrastructure systems that are capable of resisting, absorbing, and recovering from disasters while supporting sustainable development. Our participation in CDRI enables Ghana to benefit from international best practices, technical cooperation, capacity building, research, innovation, and knowledge sharing on resilient infrastructure development. It also aligns with the government's broader commitment to the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, the African Union Agenda 2063, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal number 9, on resilient infrastructure, and Goal 11 on sustainable cities and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, the infrastructure of tomorrow will not simply be stronger, it must be smarter. Emerging technologies are transforming how nations plan, design, construct, manage infrastructure. Ghana must embrace these innovations if we are to build infrastructure that is efficient, climate resilient, and future ready. Allow me to highlight a few areas where technology presents tremendous opportunities. First, the adoption of BIM, which I'm sure many of you are already using in your offices. Next, digital twins, virtual replicas of physical infrastructure, which offer enormous potential for monitoring the real-time condition of bridges, dams, water systems, and public buildings, enabling predictive maintenance and reducing infrastructure failures. Third, the deployment of artificial intelligence and big data analytics. These can support infrastructure planning through predictive modeling, climate risk analysis, traffic management, and early warning systems for floods and other hazards, which I know as engineers you're already familiar with. Fourth is geographic information systems, satellite imagery, and drone technology, which we use more and more and are becoming indispensable tools for mapping infrastructure assets, monitoring construction progress, identifying vulnerable areas, and improving disaster preparedness. Fifth, the integration of the Internet of Things, sensors, into critical infrastructure, which can provide continuous monitoring of structural health, water quality, energy systems, and transportation networks. allowing for proactive maintenance and faster emergency response. And then there's also the increased use of green infrastructure, nature-based solutions, renewable energy integration, sustainable construction materials, and circular economy principles, which will enable Ghana to reduce carbon emissions while enhancing climate resilience. Government is committed to creating the enabling policy environment that encourages innovation, supports research and development, and promotes stronger collaboration between academia, professional institutions like yours, the private sector, and development partners. Infrastructure is not merely about concrete, steel, and asphalt. It's about people. It's about creating opportunities for businesses. It's about connecting farmers to markets. It is about ensuring children can attend safe schools. It's about hospitals that remain functional during emergencies. It's about providing safe drinking water, decent housing, and reliable public services. Ultimately, resilient infrastructure is an investment in national prosperity, social inclusion, and future generations. And important to the above is partnerships. The government alone cannot build the resilient infrastructure that Ghana requires. So we need stronger collaboration among engineers, policymakers, financiers, academia, local authorities, development parties, and the private sector. This report card provides us with valuable evidence to guide these partnerships. Rather than viewing it simply as a scorecard, we should embrace it as a strategic tool for improving planning, prioritizing investments, strengthening maintenance culture, and enhancing infrastructure governance. Because as you often remind us, what gets measured gets managed. Today's assessment provides us with an opportunity to transform data into action and recommendations into measurable outcomes. Now the Chairman's remarks are a bit long today, but you bear with us because we have a lot to say and a lot to share with you. To conclude, I once again congratulate the Ghana Institute of Engineering for this commendable initiative and assure you of government's continued commitment to working closely with the engineering fraternity in advancing resilient, inclusive, and sustainable infrastructure development. Together, let us continue to build infrastructure that does not only serve today's generation, but also safeguards the prosperity and resilience of future generations. On that note, it is my singular honor, on behalf of my minister, Kenneth Gilbert Ejay, Honorable, to officially join you in the launch of the Ghana Infrastructure Report Card 2026. May God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make our nation great and strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable. So 3 key takeaways for me from what she said. She said Ghana has a commitment to resilient infrastructure. Not just in Ghana, but we are also looking across the borders as well. She also said the infrastructure of tomorrow can't be just stronger. It needs to be what? I'm trying to see if you were listening. She said it needs to be what? Smarter. And he says, then one of the things that was drawn to my attention, or the one that sat with me, is that we need one that monitors infrastructure in real time. And then she ended off with saying government alone cannot build the resilient infrastructure. It's going to rely heavily on partnership. And this infrastructure report card, we shouldn't just see it as a report for the sake of it, but rather as a basis and the foundation on which to build this partnership to say collectively, what can we do? Honorable, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me continue with a few other introductions on here. So yes, truly, we do have the president of Ghana Institution of Surveyors with me. And that is in the presence of Surveyor Kofi Kobold. Surveyor Kofi Kobold, thank you so much. I almost renamed him earlier, but I've corrected it now. So thank you so much for joining us. And he's not here by himself. He's here with his executive director as well, Miss Sarah Zida. Miss Sarah Zida, give us a wave. And the executive directors, women, we are taking over everywhere. So, Miss Sarah, welcome. Welcome home, okay? All right. Can I say, can you give us a wave, Mr. Peter Boasiko, Mr. Peter Boasiko, who works in the office of the former Vice President of Bawumia. Please give us a wave, sir, if you're here. Thank you so much for joining. And we have one of our own, who is the CEO of the Chamber of Mines, Engineer Kenneth Ashibe is here. Engineer Kenneth Ashibe, thank you so much for joining. And it's not just, we don't have just institutions, we don't have just academia, we actually have representatives from industry as well. And this is from Odebrecht Engineering and Construction. So we have Ms. Marcus Vinicius MF Viana, who's the Administration and Financial Manager of Odebrecht. Please give us a wave. Thank you so much for joining. And we will continue with the introductions as we go along. But we will move on very quickly with our program. And now that we have received our chairman's address, we would like to take an address from our own president, the president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Ludwig Hesse, and who will be joining us remotely. So technical team, if we're ready, we will take the president's address now. Thank you so much. Engineer Hesse, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Lucy. I hope I'm being heard.
You are being heard and being seen, and we love the beard.
Yes, since the women are taking over the institutions, I decided to do an affirmative action and be here to do grandfather duties. Normally, it's only the women who are invited, they leave us at home, and they come and join our grandchildren and enjoy them. I'm here doing that. Madam Chairperson, Honorable Mrs. Gisela Tete Agotui, Deputy Minister for Works and Housing and Water Resources. Sector ministers, deputy ministers, chief directors, and their reps here present. The registrar of the Engineering Council. Illustrious past presidents of the institution who have blazed the trail that I now follow. Members of council, fellows, senior members, and members of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. Invited guests, our partners from the media, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to take this opportunity to welcome you to this special event and to the premises of the Engineering Center. The purpose is to launch a GHIE Infrastructure Report Card 2026 for Ghana. During my investiture as president of the institution some 16 months ago, I chose the theme Engineering Our Future, Do It Well, Do It Right, to define my focus for the 2-year term. The theme was elaborated under 4 pillars. Pillar 2 of the 4 was to influence public policy. The third objective under this pillar was to actively promote sustainable development, environmental and social accountability, and good governance in the delivery of infrastructure and related services. 2 of the strategies under the goal are to reactivate and update the GHIE Infrastructure Report Card for Ghana, and to issue an annual public accountability report. The launch of the Infrastructure Report Card for Ghana has been born out of dedicated work by several members of the institution, led by our own Vice President, Engineer Dr. Patrick Amoah-Bekwai, who chairs the Public Accountability Special Committee of the institution. It is my belief that once this is out of the way, they will start work on the annual Public Accountability Report. The American Society of Civil Engineers published their first infrastructure report card in 1998 and now publishes it every 4 years. It was inspired by the 1988 Fragile Foundation Report, which gave the America's infrastructure a C grade and warned of aging systems, deferred maintenance, and underfunding. The ASCE report card has become a go-to resource for policymakers, planners, and the media, often cited in national news and used to frame infrastructural investment debates in the US. It has also influenced public awareness, with early editions helping shift the public's understanding of infrastructure's scope and importance of ASCE. In Ghana, the DHI issued its first infrastructure report card in 2016, adopting the ASCE methodology. Our intention then was to issue it every 5 years. The assessment in 2016 covered electric power, potable water, and roads. The overall score then was a D3, which meant the infrastructure was in generally poor to fair condition. The 2026 edition, which happens to be the second in the series that we are launching today, covers an extended portfolio of 8 sectors: education, electric power, roads and bridges, railway, telecommunication, potable water, health, and aviation. Interestingly, the overall score remains at D3. However, the real story is in the detail that will be presented to you by others. I'm, however, tempted to say something about the roads, since the subject of my recent presidential address in February was on roads. The sector saw a decline in score from D3 in 2016 to E1 in 2026. I made several recommendations on how we could improve roads in Ghana. Some of these recommendations are included in the report, but I dare mention a few. The implementation of the public investment management regulations and the public investment plan must be prioritized. The road sector must fully implement what they call WIGRAMs, a customized evidence-based system that was developed for asset management and maintenance responsibilities of the road sector. And we should not allow it to become one of the things that we spend money on but never use. Other load enforcement must be modernized using weigh-in-motion bridges with automated central data control. Urgent measures must be taken to reduce road deaths, addressing critical rising safety risks from Okada operations. And all major road projects must be supported by feasibility studies, engineering design, EIA, and detailed costing by qualified consultants and subjected to peer and stakeholder reviews. I guess some of these things will also apply to other sectors. But before I conclude this address, I cannot complete this address without acknowledging the work that has been put into this report by the technical team that collected data, analyzed, and prepared this report, the advisory committee that provided critical support and advice, the review team that undertook the critical review of the report and provided valuable inputs, the Public Accountability Special Committee itself, and also colleagues in the Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources, Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Ministry of Roads and Highways, Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization, who reviewed the sector fact sheets, corrected errors, and in some cases challenged our conclusions. I must in a special way commend our own Vice President, Engineer Dr. Patrick Amoah-Bequin, for providing the leadership and drive for this report. We owe a particular debt to the more than 900 Ghanaians across all 16 regions who completed our survey. They are engineers and nurses, teachers and traders, students and public servants. They gave their time, shared their honest assessment, and in doing so, gave this report its legitimacy. Most discussions about infrastructure sound like they belong in the conference room and quickly become very technical. So let me be clear from the onset. This report is about people. It is about the trader in Tamale whose lorry breaks an axle every other week. the student in Kwanta who cannot charge a phone to study because of power outages, and the mother in Kumasi who buys sachet water because the tap in their yard has not run in months. As we launch this report card today, it is my expectation that government agencies will engage with the institution to chart policy directions that will take us out of this quagmire. I will also urge the media to engage actively with the institution to disseminate the content of the report to all Ghanaians. We in the institution have decided that we will issue this report every 3 years. We exist as an institution to serve Ghana through the application of engineering knowledge, professional integrity, and evidence-based advocacy. We are committed to engineering our future with a solemn promise to do it well and to do it right. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Amen.
Thank you, Engineer President Ludwig Annan Hesse. Thank you so much for that wonderful address. And just so that I don't actually preempt what is going to be said, I think we're going to go into a bit more detail on the Ghana Infrastructure Report Card. But he's gone ahead and done an introduction that I was meant to do. But it's okay. I will introduce some very, very critical and some very, very important people amongst our midst. And I think I have said it in a number of events that I have moderated that I usually leave the most important and the most special people to the last. So usually if you don't hear your name, don't be discouraged. It's coming. But it's the value of importance that I'm putting on your name. People just need to assimilate and anticipate your announcements. First of all, let me acknowledge our resident, our executive director, Engineer Dr. Enyonam Pekwena. Engineer Dr. Enyonam Pekwena is amongst us as well. Thank you, madam. And the president alluded to it. He said women are taking over, and it is right because our incoming president is also in our midst, Engineer Sophia Tijani. Please give her a round of applause. She's here as well. And the person that is holding the fort whilst our president is on grandpa duties, and the person at the helm of this infrastructure report. But before I call him, let me also mention another very important person that we are so honored that they've been able to grace this occasion for us. Please give him a round of applause. We have amongst us the MC for Ayawaso West, Dr. Michael Mensah. Dr. Michael Mensah, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time and for joining us. And now, let me take this opportunity to welcome to the stage to give us a bit more detail about the infrastructure report, our very own Vice President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Dr. Patrick Bequin. Thank you so much.
Support. All right. Good morning to everyone. Honorable Chair, past President, members of Council, Registrar of the Engineering Council, our regulator, honorable distinguished guests. I'm sure I do not want to jump the protocols. partners in terms of professional body associations, members of the Public Accountability Committee, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I stand here on behalf of the Public Accountability Committee of Council to do this presentation. A year and a half ago, when we were given this mandate, we contacted a lot of you, and so we want to use also this opportunity to thank each and every one of you. I'll come to that later. But I think everyone has talked about the infrastructure report card, and I'm going to be the schoolmaster to give the results. So you have to come to my office, and then I'll give you the results. That's interesting, but the president has already given us an idea of what the result is going to be. Throughout the introductory part, we've heard about the history, so I will not want to go that, but I want to emphasize that in Africa, South Africa is doing it. At the same time, Nigeria is also doing it. And so the importance of the infrastructure report card, if we embrace it first as a nation, as a country, I think it will help us to change policy, and we've heard that throughout the opening remarks. So I will proceed and talk about what the whole report card is about. It's a professional public accountability tool, and as we said, this is the second, and we are going to grade our infrastructure on a scale of A to F. A to F, a very simple approach to tell us where we stand as a nation, and we can use that as a good tool to improve. Presidents talked about the number of people we surveyed. We surveyed professionals, we surveyed the public in general, and we had over 900 respondents. And I think we are grateful once again to those people who did that. Now, one of the essence is also to ensure that citizens, the policymakers, parliament, and we are happy to know that even our chair is also a parliamentarian, an honest and evidence-based picture of the national infrastructure. So sometimes government says they are doing things, they are working on roads, they are working on electricity, we are doing, but what is the national scale? How is the performance of the infrastructure? Sometimes we may be doing, pumping so much money in electricity or expansion, but how is the people who are using, how do they feel about it? So that is what we intend to seek. So the objective of this is first to provide an honest assessment, to give citizens and policymakers a tool or to empower them, to drive accountability, and to what we have done was we've also expanded the scope. We started with 3, we now have 8, and I'm sure the next one that will come will expand the scope further to have more infrastructure. Honorable Chair talked about sanitation infrastructure. This is something that we have not looked at, but I think it's something that we need to independently look at going forward, and also identify cross-cutting failure. And you see from the results that across the 8 that we looked at, there are some cross-cutting issues that we need to look at and also track our performance over time. So how did we grade the infrastructure? We graded the infrastructure using a criteria, 8-point criteria. First, we looked at the capacity. For each infrastructure, we wanted to assess the capacity. Can the system meet current and future demand? So the capacity of the infrastructure, the condition of the infrastructure, the funding was also assessed. Future needs is the funding aligned to long-term infrastructure needs. So we also assessed the future needs. We looked at the operation and maintenance. How are we maintaining our infrastructure? Is also our infrastructure safe for the public? So we looked at public safety, and Honorable emphasized so much about resilience. So we also assess resilience and also innovation. How innovative are we in the use? And if you listen to the speech by Honorable, she talked about the need to be innovative, using materials, modern materials, innovative materials in the building of our infrastructure. So those were the 8 areas that the assessors graded. And we graded them on a scale of, as I said, A to F. And what do we mean when we say an infrastructure is A? A is that the infrastructure is exceptional. B is very good. C is good. So when an infrastructure is C is good, and we have the descriptions over there. D is fair, E is poor, and F is very poor. When I went to school, I knew F is fail. But now we are saying F is very poor. All we are saying is that it's unacceptable, widespread deterioration, and imminent failure. So when your infrastructure has reached an F situation, that is what it means. When it's E, it means that mostly below standard. Many elements are at the end of the service life and risk failure. So let's keep. And when it's C, I want to talk about C. It means that it's fair to good. You have some deterioration, but if you pay attention, you can improve it. Some significant deficiencies exist when you are in the C range. So we also use the grade points assessments. Those who are in the American system like the grade point. I think those who went to Legon like grade points. Those who went to KNUST, we use the CWA, so we use percentages. So we've tried as much as possible to satisfy whether you went to Legon or whether you went to what, KNUST. Yes. No, they are not the only universities. Or whether you went to UCC. Whether you went to UCC. But irrespective, the grades, and we had subgrades. So within every, like A, we have the A1. That means you are at the topmost. Assuming you are C1, you are the topmost of the C, and with little investment, you can go to B, B3. But when you are at C3, what it means that if you don't take care, you will drop to D. Please, this is SHS grading. This is SHS grading, actually. So we've tried as much as possible, and if you read the report, those details are in it. The president has let a cut out of the bag, but I just want to say that our overall score in 2026 is D3. D3. So in GPA, you are 2.83. And in CWA, if you don't take care, you are 57%. The professors are here. 57, you can survive for some number of years. But what is significant is that for 10 years, approximately, we have not made much progress. Because in 2016, we were at D3. We were at D3. Although we looked at 3 infrastructure areas, we are hot. We were at D3, we were at 58%. And I'll go into the details, but that tells you that although over the past 10 years, we've sunk significant, and we'll delve deep into the 3 infrastructure areas that we looked at. We've sunk significant money into some of our infrastructure areas. The returns may not be that significant, and we need to think differently. So let's go into the details. And Honorable, let me just say, because you brought the issue about politics inside, it's very important I clarify that. What we did in our procedure is that we actually engaged the ministries. We looked at their historical data. So these are not our personal opinion, and we collected a lot of data, historical data from 2017 till 2025 from the ministries, and those from the ministries can attest to that. We wrote to them, they gave us the data, they gave us the trend, so we did not generate anything over here. We did that with the ministry, and then we developed the fact sheets. So based on the same things that the ministries have given us, we basically summarize them and develop fact sheets that this is where our capacity in energy is. This is our capacity in water. This is how resilient our water systems are, our roads. So those were the fact sheets. And then when we give the fact sheets to any independent person, that's one, first of all, an engineer, or even not an engineer, he should be able to grade. And that's the approach that we used. So now I will go into the details. First of all, we will look at aviation. So aviation is a new entrance. This is the first time we're assessing aviation. Now aviation scored C3, the overall grade. I'll go into the details. It's called C3. That's 3.57. In tech, I've done well a little bit. If my CWA was like this before I completed, I'd have been first class. Prof, am I right? Yeah. Now, electric power also somehow, to an extent, improved. But it improved within the D range. In 2016, it was D2. Now it's gone toward D3, and we'll delve into why electric power, D1, sorry. The electric power has improved. So electric power is at 66%. It has the potential to move towards the C range. Then the roads. Roads in 2016 was D3. Now it is at what? E1. It's at the border to go to what? F. But we can do something. No, it's not at the border. We can say it can go to E2, E3, but we don't want it to go. We want to go upwards. So that's it. So it's at the border, at least, to go back to D. Okay. Then, am I a bad headmaster? The way I'm handing over the grades is not good. Then, potable water. Potable water was D3 in 2016. It's maintained the same D3. We'll see the details in terms of percentages. I think it was at 55. It's come to 53%. So that's potable water. Then telecommunication, which is a new one, at least came in stronger. It came 64%, and it's at D1. So it has the ability to go towards at least C. Then education infrastructure, it's at what? D3. Our education infrastructure is at D3. Then our health infrastructure, unfortunately, is at E1. So we have very big hospitals, and we'll go into that, but it's telling us that our health infrastructure is at what? E1, and our railway systems are also at what? E1. They are on 48%. And in tech, below 45, you may not graduate. Am I right? All right. So at a glance, this is a picture of our infrastructure scorecard in 2016. Yes, aviation is standing out as good, C3, but we have 3 of our major infrastructure, roads, health, and railway in the E categories. And we have 2 of the sectors that have improved. And significantly, roads have declined. Roads have declined. Now, let's delve a little deeper into what has happened. First, I want us to assess the 3 infrastructure areas that we looked at in 2016 and also 2026. Now, you noticed that potable water was at D3, 56%, it's come to what? 53%. Roads has deteriorated, electric power has improved. But beneath this, you know, the aggregate, if we were only to do these 3 this year, our overall score will be far less. Actually, it was going to be 56%. So if you compare those 3, on the average, we have come down. Although they are all D3. So that is what is behind this. Because they are new sectors and we are aggregating them, sometimes you may miss that. But behind this is the fact that the 3 sectors, we've declined. Yes, it's the energy sector that has actually done well. If it was not for the energy sector, we would have gone further. So I brought this for proper comparison so that we understand what is really happening within the country. And we don't want a situation where in 3 years' time, we'll come here and the additional 5 sectors will also say they have declined. We can salvage the situation because now the additional 5, this becomes the benchmark for comparison. And we can do something. So what I'm going to do next is to look at sector by sector, what is really happening, and then we'll proceed. And in the report, we've given details of each sector, what is happening, and we've also prepared certain solutions. We've looked at the soft aspect and also the hard aspect. The soft, the user's perspective, and the infrastructure itself, how it's behaving. So we'll look at the aviation sector. Yes, aviation sector seems to be good. We have very major infrastructure. Accident rates have been 0. In terms of throughput and all those things, it's been increasing over the time. Their rating within the sector has been increasing. The international rating, if you look at ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization's rating of our aviation sector, is been higher. The International Air Transport Association rating is also gone high. And basically, they have very good navigation, what they call NAVIGS. Navigation systems, which are performing very well. There are a few of the aviation, let me say airports that needs to be improved, but in general, they are fit for purpose. And if you look at their scoring, their capacity, they are almost close to 4, and condition also close to 4. Remember, 4 is very good. Very good, not at 5, but generally very good. So they've scored very well, very good, or good in 5 out of the 8 criteria. And that is what is pushing the aviation sector very well. However, they still lack funding to meet the future demand. So funding, there is a major funding gap, about 1.2 billion funding gap that needs to go into the aviation sector. So we have actually made certain recommendations in the report card about what needs to be done in the aviation sector. And I will not, just to complete and operationalize the Kumasi runway extension to enable full international operationalization, and also to relieve the Accra International Airport. I think it's something that we need to look at. We've developed the Kumasi International Airport. We need to make it very international so that the congestion in Accra is reduced. So that is something that we need to advance the Green Airport Framework and Sustainable Aviation Fuel Adoption Roadmap in partnership with ICAO and IATA, which I explained. So these are key recommendations, and there are other recommendations in the report. The report will be made available for us, and these are things that we need to work on going forward in the aviation sector. Yes, they have done well, but they can do better. I think that is the story in the aviation sector. So now let's go to the electric power. Now we've seen the score in electric power. I want us to focus on a few things. Now, in the electric power in 2016, we looked at the demand, first the installed capacity, and then the peak demand. What we've noticed that the peak demand has increased significantly from 2,300 to 3,900. That's the peak demand. However, we also have increased capacity. So one of the criteria for the past 10 years, one of the things we see in the electric power system is the fact that we've increased capacity. So capacity improved by 45%, which is good for us, but it may not translate in the user satisfaction. So we have enough capacity. Funding, we noticed from the data, is a major challenge within the energy sector. And another graph that I want to show is that access to electricity has significantly increased over the period, and the trend is what you see on your right-hand side. Our generation mix has also changed. Now they've introduced significant renewables into the mix, and that is also helping to reduce the cost to the user. So we need to deal with, but there are a few things. Now, in terms of, I'm not an electric person, what they call the frequency acceptable range, I think this is at the generation side. We are doing only, 28%. And what I understand by it, the electrical people, if I'm wrong, correct me, is that there's some frequency range when we are generating that should fall within. And we normally go out of it. We don't get that. And so it also affects sometimes the quality of power that we get. And so if we can do something about it, it will help change this country. And we are 28%. The energy sector is doing well, not so well, but better than a lot of the sectors in terms of O&M. They are, from the data that we got, they are changing their transformers. They are doing some maintenance and at ECG and all other places. So you will notice that O&M had about C3, which is good. It's not perfect. We experience it, but it's something that we can improve going forward. Then the last thing I want to talk about with the reserve margin, we are below the reserve margin. And I think the minimum needed from the literature is 18%, and we are currently at 15%. So that is something, what the data is telling us, and those form the basis for the grading of the electric energy power sector. Now, what needs to be improved is that one, and I've talked about the funding issues. If you will go into the details, I'll come back to electric power, getting to the end, is that we need to urgently address ECG's financial fragility through tariff reform and measurable operational efficiency improvement. I think this is something that is topical. We are talking about it. The government is doing something about it, but I think we need to be aggressive going forward about it. I know there was some 1% issues and a whole lot of other things, but we need to do something about it. Now, the last point, I'm not saying everything, is that we need to develop and publish a credible renewable energy transition roadmap, incorporating all the other green, that's solar, wind, and pumped hydro storage. So that's something we are recommending for the energy sector. I think the other issues are things, the Accra Kumasi line. I know government is doing something about it, and we'll talk about that later. Now, let's move to telecommunication. So the telecommunication sector is also a sector that has, over the period, we all know that mobile phone penetration has been increased over the period within the country. We have a very high voice penetration rates. The mobile data subscription quite good. Data year on year, the usage of data year on year has been increasing. However, the fixed broadband, and Togbe is here, so if the fixed broadband share is quite low, and it's something that is also affecting this country's telecommunication industry. In the report, we've talked about your frequencies. You have a lot of frequencies within the system, and Internet of Things, and things that we are doing, but we need to be aggressive. So as we speak, we are at D1, but we can do better. And we've gone ahead to give you what needs to be done in the telecommunications sector. And number one is more specific, but I will want to go to number 3, which is accelerate the 5G spectrum allocation with clear timeline, coverage of obligation, and rural inclusion requirements, and something that we can do. The second thing is that implement the data affordability framework, including social tariff programs and low income users, because from the report, what we noticed, there are so many pockets within this country that do not have reception mobile. And the surprising thing from the data is that there are some within even cities, like Greater Accra. You think that in Greater Accra, they shouldn't have challenges with mobile distance, but they are having. And so that's something that we need to address in terms of the infrastructure side. But within the rural communities, we need to do more and to improve our telecommunication infrastructure. Now, let's go to the water sector. Now, the water sector it's interesting and honorable because you are in it. I don't know whether I can talk. Well, if we look at our daily production and our daily demand, we are far below. We are far below. So, and sometimes we think Ghana is only Accra. There are people chasing for water. And even in Accra, we are, and I'm a living example of always going for tankers to bring me water. This morning, my wife told me that I shouldn't use the taste of the water. It's not good. So I shouldn't even use it to paste. I said, oh, really? Me, I've not even had it. But there is a challenge. And we need to look at our water sector significantly. Oh, I've gone for it. So the supply actually meets only 55% of our daily demand, and that is where we are. But even this, there is also very high non-revenue water losses, and that is something that is killing the water sector. We have about 50% of the water. So what this tells us is that even what we produce, 50% is lost, unaccounted. That's what it means. That 50% is lost, either through, you understand what I mean? or even at the production side. So we are only paying, and look at the challenge Ghana Water is having in terms of even revenue collection. So it's affecting the performance of our infrastructure. And I can say more, but it has been aggravated by Galamsey. I don't need to talk about it, Togbe. I think at the production side, they are spending so much, and this has been aggravated. And funding is terrible in the water sector. So you notice that the funding amount that we are spending in the water sector is dwindling. And so this is what is there. And we have about 3.7 million people lacking basic water access. That is the story. That is the story. And I think we can change the strategy. That is what this report seeks to do, an objective. And this is data. We did not manufacture this data. This data is from you, from the ministry, it's from the documents that we have in our reports that we've sensitized into this. So what needs to be done? I think urgently, we need to look at the losses. So we have said that expand Ghana Water production and distribution capacity urgently to close up the 45% daily supply demand gap. I will jump to number 2, yes. Implement the national, basically non-revenue reduction program targeting at least 25%. 50% is too high. Within 5 years, with quarterly public reporting. So Ghana Water, this is something we can do. And we are asking that at least the water sector, we need to do something seriously about it. Education is coming in for the first time. We have, over the past 10 years, focused on enrollment. We have been focusing, but luckily I'm happy that we have someone from the opposition also here. I mean, this is very good that we have various stakeholders because we are a very good stakeholder in the development. But this is what the story tells us, that although we have been spending so much on education enrollment, the infrastructure itself, we have only spent 10%. With Get Fund, with everything, we've only spent 10% on infrastructure. So for almost 10 years, we're focusing on enrollment, we're focusing on this thing. The other thing is in the middle there, the share of our education's expenditure compared to the national budget has been dwindling, actually. Has been dwindling. So it peaked somewhere in 2019. Okay? 2019, we went all the way to 18% of our national budget. But from there, it's been dwindling. So although we seem to say that education is a priority, yes, you can say that the quantum has increased. When I say the numbers, maybe 10 million, 30 million has increased. In terms of percentage, it's been dwindling. And this graph is this thing. Now, the last graph talks about enrollment versus infrastructure expenditure. So yes, enrollment has been increasing from 2017. Remember, this was the time we had a lot on free SHS and we're focusing on enrollment. But the infrastructure expenditure, it was not commensurate to it. So this is something we need to look at. I think over the period, we've had a chance, we will be eliminating schools under trees. We've been doing this, we've been doing that. But we need to be strategic in our investments when it comes to infrastructure. And our schools like ICTs, and these are the percentage, the facilities. Most of even the schools, rural, some of them do not have power, do not have clean water and toilets. So even those with infrastructure, these are the things that are lacking, and we've aggregated them. But there is a large financing gap within this sector. So we have about 2 billion financing gap that we have identified to achieve SDG 4 and the rest. So we've gone ahead to give certain solutions for the education sector. Let me give two. The schools under trees. All right. Increase in infrastructure expenditure to a minimum of 20% of your annual budget. And I know, Honorable, this is something we can use to push with the Ministry of Finance so that when they are dealing with their budget framework and all those things, this is a good tool that you can use to engage, because sometimes I think we spread, and when we spread, we are not able to achieve the needed quality and result. And the next thing is electrify and connect all rural basic school to ICT. I think we can, and you mentioned it, we can use technology to deal with some of these issues. So can we use technology to help in education? This is something that I think as a government, if we refocus on, it will help change the story. The president said this, so I will not say much. The road sector. So I think the president said everything. Madam Chair, I have your permission to proceed. So we live in a nation that only 27% of our network is paved. And even with the paved, if you look at the condition of our paved roads, it's something that we need to look at. Our condition is as at the end of 2024, because that's the data that we're able to get. It's that we have 47% as at the end of 2024 to be in good, and fair is 32, and poor is 21%. But we've had significant contractor arrests. We have so much debt, which is also affecting the performance of the country. As at the end of 2024, we have about 17.8 billion in arrests. And these are not just numbers, but we compared to 2016, and it has increased 11.3 times. And when Prof. Adams, I remember very well when Prof. Adams made this same presentation about 10 years ago, he talked about contractor arrests. But what has happened is that whatever he said, we've multiplied it by 7. By 11. We've multiplied it by 7. So what can I say? Prof. Overloading has also worsened. So it's also affecting the performance of our roads. Those of you who are pavement experts. So, and this is the data that we have. The funny thing about the road sector is, from the public's perspective, this is not my perspective, they don't feel safe on our roads. That's what it actually is called, E2. That's it, public safety score. Because our roads are killing us. This is it. I did not manufacture it. So we need to do things differently. On our road sector, the government has initiated a big push, but like we said, I think we need to look at operation and maintenance. I did not go into that. Operation and maintenance and other issues are still challenges within the road sector. That can we improve upon operation and maintenance going forward and deal with the big issue? Whilst we support the government in its initiative in trying to restore the road sector, but for a sector to decline, because amongst all the sectors, maybe I'll say perhaps roads is one that significantly, and I'm speaking this from my economics point of view, that significantly affects the socioeconomic livelihood of people. Although I know you look at me and say energy, engineer, president-elect, but we are all in one way or the other affected by the road sector. And it's about, like the president said, it's about the person in Kitikrache, it's like the person in Tamale, and it's like me coming to work when I spend 3 hours sometimes to get to work. Basically because of congestion, because of the conditions of the road, and I think we need to do something about it as a country. So what needs to be done? I think we need to get more funding, look at the funding regime within the road sector. We need to look at the axle load control system. We need to focus on asset management driven by data and asset preservation. At least what we have, we need to do something about that. We need to do something about that so that we don't deteriorate. In the presidential address of Prof. Adams, I think, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? He showed a graph that showed that when we defer maintenance, it's basically the cost is 3 times. How many times? Okay, about 8 times how much will this is. So we need to refocus on maintenance and preserve assets. Actually, in the United States and other countries, asset preservations is now a priority, not new construction. So how do we preserve this thing? And I think my colleagues in the road sector, I'm part of it, we need to do so. I see the Deputy Director Maintenance of the Department of Feeder Roads sitting at the back there. I think he's representing the director. Good. So, and governance and urban transport, I think there's so much, the data show that congestion is killing us. So we need to now take a second look at our urban planning and also urban transport systems going forward. So we tried BRT. We've not tried it. We attempted. We attempted, but we need to do something about it, and we need to be aggressive about it. I think for me, this report card is a call for us to rethink and do something. Yes, political parties have manifestos, and most of these things may even be aligned with the manifestos, but the aggressiveness and all those things that we need, Honorable Chair, I think is something. And it's not only to the politicians, it's to me, as a public servant, it's to the consultants, it's to all of us. This report is for all of us. Of course, we need policy direction, but we can. I think we can do better. Now we go to the health sector, and not to take so much. I wanted to finish earlier. The health sector. Health sector is the first time, and it comes in at E1, 49%. It's poor. We have very high, let me say, the doctor to patient ratio is below international standard. 1:8,000. The ambulance to public ratio is 1:84,000. Now, the primary facility fully equipped. So when we come to the health system, you know the range. It's only 5% of our primary facilities that are fully distant. Then our household, the data we collected showed that our household expenditure on the health sector, on health, has increased. And this could be an aggregation of a lot of things, even from traffic. That we are spending so much money on health. So our general well-being needs to improve. They also under budget, 61% of their capital budget are not taken care of. And these are setting in terms of expenditure, what they've been spending, and the WHO standard, and then the other graph shows this. So we've also given some what needs to be done. We need to increase expenditure, and this goes to Ministry of Finance on the health sector. We need to implement a healthcare worker retention strategy. I think in recent times, the Minister of Health has been talking about, in the rural sector areas, we don't have a lot of medical officers there, and our brothers, our mothers have access to health is quite challenging. This may sound a little political, but we need to state it. The zip line thing, we need to relook at it and see whether we can upscale it, because the data shows that it's something that we can do something about and help improve access to health, especially for rural community. All right, so I will quickly go to the last one, which is the rail sector. We only have about 149 kilometers of distance that are of the 947 kilometers of rail lines that are operational. Most of our networks are not operational. There's a big funding gap in that sector, and they need about $447 million USD in it. And if you look at that sector, they scored very low in almost all the sector. Tema and Pakadan has been commissioned. There are few distant, but we need to fully operationalize it for the purpose. And so those are some of the recommendations. We've given other recommendations, including the PPP arrangements and others. So I will not, and there has been some few encroachments, so we need law enforcement to deal with that. Now, I'm done with this, but this is just one or two stories that I want to add. In almost all the sectors, that's about 5 or so. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. The key issue is funding. Most of them, funding is a major challenge. So we need to look at funding. And what we noticed is that also funding for maintenance is low. So government policymakers are interested in doing new projects, but maintaining what we have is something that is lacking. And that is affecting in the O&M operation. So we've also gone ahead to give certain solutions. This is what I call the heat map of all the sectors. So the more red, the worse the situation is. So aviation seems to be doing well, orange, a lot of this thing, but with this, we can think through where we are, whether it's resilience, whether it's innovation, but it tells us that we've not been innovative in the health sector, in the aviation sector. Road, we are doing well in terms of some innovation, and the rest. So these are things that we can do to help. And I will jump this, but I wanted us to look at electric versus roads. What is really happening? But because of time, I will leave that. But what the electric has done is they've improved significantly the O&M, operation and maintenance. And that has significantly affected your overall score. So this is giving you an idea. And what is aviation doing so well? So aviation, if you look at the inner, this thing is the overall average for all the sectors. But aviation is doing well in capacity, above, resilience, innovation, condition, funding. Future needs almost close, and their safety is quite high. So at least we can use aviation as a standard to improve for all this. Whew. Am I a bad headmaster? Well, in conclusion, this grace conceals a lot, but also reveals a lot. So D3, whether in 2016 or 2026, can't be misleading. You can look at it and you say that at least we've maintained where we are. But I think what I encourage each and every one of our stakeholders is to read the report and see at your institutions what we can do to improve our grades going forward. And we believe that we can build a world-class infrastructure that will last generations. In other countries, their infrastructure lasts hundreds of years. In Ghana, we'll build our infrastructure, and sometimes the worst thing is that it doesn't even last a tenure of a political party. I think that is something we need to look at seriously. That will build any infrastructure, I don't want to mention anything, and then within 4 years, we see significant defects. I don't think that is a problem of only government. I think it's all of us as a people. It's the designers, it's the contractors, it's everyone. It's the supervisors, it's me, it's everyone. And so, funding, although is one of the most significant, but we need to look at the systemic issues and address all of them. We've given some priority areas. President may have said some, but we felt that as a nation, we need to establish a National Infrastructure Council. And sometimes, personally, when I even think about this, I say we don't need it, but I think we need it now because of our maintenance culture. That will pump the idea of maintenance and asset preservation into our psyche. I think this report will be good for the ministries to incorporate them into their sector medium plans. And then we've given some other specific sector-specific issues. I'm not going into that. The president has given an indication of how often we are going to do that. As a committee, during our last meeting, we realized that there are certain areas like sanitation that we have not looked at. So we may bring something quickly. We may not wait just to add more infrastructure to that. And we look at additional, then we need to also, this was at the national level, we are thinking about how we can go to the regions, the districts, and collect primary data from there, and we can disaggregate. If there are some regional disproportionalities and all those things, we can address that. But we will continue to track. We'll continue to track at the community level, and this is the standard that we have set for ourselves. The president talked about the fact that we are doing a public account. So there's a second part of the work that we are doing. For that one, we are focusing on tracking government's own promises and seeing how they are achieving them independently. So our committee is seriously working on that, and we will come up with that very soon. So on this note, I want to use this opportunity. This work naturally was not done by me. It was done by some gallant people. And, you know, I've pushed them, but I want them to stand up. The members of my committee, if you don't mind, please, honorable, let's stand up. Members, Baleka, I can see a few. Yes. Some of them are not here. Dr. Safweje, Engineer Boache, Akos. And let me say, this lady is not a member of our institution. I taught her, she's a student of KNUST, of your program, TREC, but she's also a statistician. So she provided pro bono services as a statistician to this project. And so she was involved in analyzing most of the work, the data, with engineer Dr. Kwakwa, who is not here, and the rest. So these are the brain behind, you can have a say, thank you. These are the brain behind the work that has been done, the long meetings and the chairing such meetings. And then the review committee members, some of them are here. Engineer Gordon Brock, he underlined everything that we did. He underlined everything that we did. So, red pen. So I think I will leave the rest, the names, Prof. Adams, who is a pioneer in this, Engineer William Amamu, Harold, Engineer Safratu Andani. We are grateful to all of you. Then our advisory committee members, we are also very grateful to each and every one of you. They are there. Engineer Asareboa will put pressure. When are you coming out with the report card? The last time I met him, na report card and Baba. and our past presidents, and I think I need not mention them. Engineer Magnus will coach me on how to do an infrastructure report card. Thank you very much. And to the entire committee, the committee is made up, Engineer Prof. Kowa is a co-chair, and especially to the secretarial staff. And I'm mentioning them, I don't know whether they are here. Engineer Leonora, where is she? Mr. Redeemer, Raymond Okra, where is he? Raymond. I mean, some of the meetings, some of the terminologies they don't understand, but they'll bring the minutes and I say, go and change it. And they'll do it. And I'm very, very grateful to all of you, the preparatory committee led by Edie and the staff. We are grateful to you. And finally, this is a quote from the president. I want us to leave us with two quotes. Do it well, do it right. Ghana's infrastructure deserves nothing less, and neither do the people who depend on it every day. Can we reflect on it a minute? Do it well. Do it what? Right. Ghana's infrastructure deserves nothing less, and neither do the people who depend on it every day. Engineers build what others imagine. This report card builds something more difficult, an honest account of where we stand, so that together we can decide where we must go. On that note, good afternoon. Thank you very much.
Please give it up to Engineer Dr. Patrick Bequing. I'm still trying to decide whether he came across as a headmaster or a preacher with the movements and everything. But with all of that, that was the passion within which he has for this outcome of this report. So generally, as a country, they've placed us at D, right? Said aviation C3, electric power D1, roads E1, portable D3, telecoms D1, education D3, health E1, railway E1. First class students, when we see these grades, we itch and we are very uncomfortable. But it's a true reflection of where we are. Okay. So I'm going to quickly carry on with the program, but before I do that, I wanted to try and see if I could put a positive spin on this. So I said, can we compare ourselves to others? So, you know, now everybody has an able assistant, AI assistant, say, okay, based on these reports, how do we compare to others? And looking at other African nations, we are not that far off. We all have a lot of work to do. Then I challenged, I said, okay, now compare us to the West. And I think they said the last assessment report done by the US was at C. So if you wanted to put a spin on it, C did here. Okay, yeah, but the reality or the difference with theirs is that they are scored lowly, not because they don't have the infrastructure, but it's been there for years and it's aging. So that is a difference. So there's so much more to do. And I believe that we are all leaving here well informed. We kind of knew this before coming here. But I think it's different when the data is put in front of you. It hits home a bit more. And as Engineer Dr. Patrick Bequing has challenged all of us, we are not here to tell the government this is the issue, so now go fix it. We are here to say this is the reality of where we are. What can we do together to move us forward? Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge some more other dignitaries who have joined us today. And I appreciate this so much because everybody that we called on did turn up. Let me take the opportunity to acknowledge Architect Josephine E.M. Pesese, who is the Acting Registrar of Architects Registration Council. Please give us a wave. Madam, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you so much. We also have within our midst Mr. Richard Trineboa Kodia, who is the Director of Research and Innovation Division, NDPC. Please give us a wave. I know he was here sometime. All right. Then we also had the CEO of the Ghana Construction Chamber, CEO of the Ghana Construction Chamber, Mr. Emmanuel Cherry. Mr. Emmanuel Cherry, please, if you're here, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. We also have a representative from our sister institution, IET. We have Engineer Dr. Archibald Dankwa Amwa. Engineer, if you're here, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know I've already introduced a lot of our council members already, but when someone takes a flight all the way from Tamale to just come and be present here, please give it up for our Branch 5 Chair, Engineer Abdul Shakud from Tamale. And he just came to be part of this event, so thank you so much. I would also like to acknowledge the Director of Monitoring and Evaluation, NDPC, Mr. Bright Yao Atiase. Please, are you here? Thank you so much for coming. And I have been reliably informed, it's not just us in this room. We have a number of our members online, particularly our past presidents who have joined us online. Thank you so much. Please give them a round of applause. Let them feel the love. Let them feel the love. So now, as Dr. Bequain has said, he's come as a headmaster to come and give us our reports. And we have a right to respond. When your child brings their report card to you and you question them that this is A, B, and C, you give them an opportunity to either respond, to comment, or to suggest what else can be done. So we're going to take a couple of stakeholder responses. I'm going to follow what is on our plan here, and if time will permit and I'm given permission, then we'll do a bit more, ask other responses in the room who want to make a comment. So I know we have some government representatives in the room. Our chair will have her closing remarks, where she will summarize everything that we have learned. That will come later. But any government agencies in the room that may want to respond to this, please, if you put your hand up. We're going to go in this order. We'll take some responses from government representatives and some from our development partners, and then industry perspectives. And then I'll come to the Engineering Council. And then we know we have other political parties represented here. We'll give them an opportunity to say something as well. So let's start off with the remarks from our government representatives. Fantastic. Oh, yes, all right. Fantastic. So we're going to be taking some comments from the various ministries. I believe Engineer Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, I believe I introduced you earlier, who is the technical advisor to the Minister of Energy. Can I put you on the spot? No. Oh, it's fine. Okay, when you shook your head, I got a bit confused. So I'm going to put you on the spot to start with the government's responses, that on behalf of your ministry, we've seen this report card that we have presented to you, your takes, and then we'll move across the room as well. Please, if you want to comment or you want to speak, please, when you get up, please introduce yourself, and we'll take a short response for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I'll just stand on the protocols that has been established. It's a great honor to be here. My boss wanted to be here by himself, but because of some other engagement, he wasn't able to make it. And so I'm standing for him. I'm representing the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. And also as a member, in fact, I could have come here independent of my boss' instruction, as a member of Ghana Institution of Engineering. I found this report very, very revealing. And I will say that I think it can form a framework or a blueprint for our NDPC. I think we had an NDPC representative here. This is very critical. I will concentrate on my sector, the energy sector. What I know about engineering coming up or growing up, other professions, I'm not saying other professions, I'm not speaking up, down, I mean, I'm not looking down upon other professions. I'm just giving a scenario that a lecturer, when I was in KNUST, mentioned, that sometimes other people can go and make a lot of mistakes. It will take a long time for people to know that somebody is making a mistake as a professional in that particular realm. But let an engineer make a mistake, the whole world will know that. Look at road construction. I'm a chemical engineer. In the processing plant in a refinery, I input temperatures and pressures so that you can get your LPG, your kerosene, your diesel at a spec that is needed in the market. Let me make a mistake by a degree, it will go off spec. This example, and all other engineering disciplines, this is clear. And so, my quick remarks that I'm going to put with respect to this topic is the fact that the score is not strange and it's not surprising. We only commend this great institution for coming out with that, because we know if you joke with data analysis from an engineer, then you are joking with your life. Because engineering profession, and I'm not surprised about professionalism, integrity, and the other one is innovation. And so with this, within the practice, I'm urging that we should try to inculcate that into our practice. And that will help and build us a lot. Now, we have identified that infrastructure is really key. And so, earlier part of this year, you notice that within the energy sector, over the past years, there has been a gap. And so for the last 12 months, if you notice, we have robustly embarked on massive infrastructure upgrades, both from the electricity sector, from the power sector. And I noticed this report, maybe in future we can look at the petroleum sector as well, the infrastructure within the petroleum sector, because actually they are intricately linked, the petroleum and then the power sector. Now, what we have done to bring the cost of at least electricity within range, and the presenter mentioned that earlier on we used to use liquid-based fuel to generate power, and that was quite expensive, apart from its environmental unfriendly nature. We have gravitated towards embarking on using gas, and then also trying within the mix to add the renewables. A lot more is being added to change the dynamics of the generation mix. So this has helped to bring down the cost of electricity. Now, infrastructure-wise, generally, within the ministry, we are embarking on some critical infrastructure, i.e., in the power sector, our indefatigable ECG, I think they are doing very well at this moment. Collection has improved drastically. A massive infrastructure upgrade is ongoing. Our cash waterfall mechanism is working, and that has improved a lot of the collections. Albeit there's still a lot to be done. So that is why I'm standing here and calling on all stakeholders to support us. Other two examples I want to give, earlier part of this year, not earlier part of this year, quite recently, we were subjected to heavy power erratic supply. It was a result of infrastructure failure. It happened to one in our Ghana gas and one in our VRA. If you notice, we had a whole of a setup of an infrastructure that went into flames. But because of the hard work, by virtue of the hard work of our local engineers, they were able to bring the plant back within a couple of just 5 days. So in generally, what I want to say is that we are embarking on massive infrastructure upgrade. We are building second gas processing plant. That will be a backup. The engineer mentioned the deferred maintenance. In fact, the reason why we have most of the deferred maintenance is because of lack of redundancies. So we are embarking on building, when I say redundancy, standby, so that when a particular machine is due for maintenance, you know you have a reliable one that you can rely on, so that you can have a time to do the maintenance, preventive and both preventive and then corrective maintenances. So in brief, this is a short remark that I want to do, but I'm sure we'll have this report because I think it's golden. And thank you very much for this report. Yeah.
And in every report, you usually call the person who got first, right? So it is fair that the representative from the Minister of Energy, we call them to talk about what they're doing. And they are not sitting on the morals, which means the next time we do this report card, you still want to come on top. So if you are C this time, next time you are aiming for B, because I'm sure all the various other sectors will be looking to compete to make it better. The representative that I want to call on, so I'll let you know two people I want to speak before we go to our sectors and the various institutions to give their responses. And we're going to go to the Ministry of Transport representative, Mr. Eric Addison. Mr. Eric Addison, we would like to hear what you have to say or your comments for this as well. Then after that, another sector that was evaluated and was called out was the telecom. So I'll come to the Chamber of Telecoms as well to give us, I'll come to Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe. He's no more. Oh, then that's fine. That's fine. He's moved on to better better things. He's now more Galamsey oriented. But I'll still like to hear his, so I'll still come back for your response, please, sir. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. Though I was ambushed, I will try to also summarize what I also got from the message. Now, I put together this, that this infrastructure report card is not to shame us, but it is rather to guide us into the future. The message that has been transmitted to us is clear. What have we done? We have built a lot, but we have failed to maintain them. What we need to do is to maintain and maintain better. We also need to invest smarter and also to build with resilience. As Ministry of Transport, we have accepted this. Though aviation was doing well, rail was down there. And we have accepted this report in good faith. And our commitment is that we are going to use this report card to drive our budget decisions going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And that's what we all want to hear, for us to be honest with where we are and to come together to say, what else can we do? So can I use this opportunity to call the rep from our sister institution, IET, Engineer Dr. Archibald Dankwah-Amoah, if you can give us a comment from your side, after which I will call the President of Institute of Surveyors to say something as well. And then I will come to the Engineering Council, because we also want to hear what you have to say. So let me call on Engineer Dr. Archibald Dankwah-Amoah, if you're here. Engineer, are you still here? Oh, okay, so unfortunately he stepped out. So then let me move on to the President of Institute of Surveyors. Is he also here? Yes, please come. Yes, sir. So I will come, because I know I got your name wrong the first time. I corrected myself, but if you can kindly mention your name for us again.
Thank you very much. My name is Sylvia Kofi Kobold. And thank you very much, Institution of Engineering. We are proud about what you have done, and we are happy that it came from you. As a nation, I'm sure if it had come from any other source, we'll play politics with it and throw it away. But since it's a professional institution, I'm sure as a nation we'll take it seriously. It's been said that when the lion doesn't tell the story of the hunting will always favor the hunter. In this country, when anything happens, even though as part of built environment professional, we may all be guilty, the first thing is that they will say it's an engineering problem. Probably may be surveying problem, but as a nation, they blame the engineers first. And so we are happy and always willing to collaborate to strengthen this scorecard if possible. I just want to bring our attention what happens if professionals collaborate as a nation. During the COVID, the built environment professional and the private sector came together to build this 100-bed infectious disease center. What happened was that as the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, a division of our institution that hardly find them on site, this time were on site, and what they did was to develop a maintenance manual. And so for the first time, that hospital had a maintenance manual. Long after it's been handed over, the hospital came to our institution and we took them through how to manage and maintain the facilities. And we want to recommend that as we have seen and heard today, the major part of our infrastructure failure is maintenance. And what will it be so beautiful that for every infrastructure, we also have a maintenance manual. Sometimes maintenance is as simple as even just cleaning. And therefore, if we also include maintenance manuals to our infrastructure programs or projects, I believe we'll also do our best to enhance the life of our infrastructure. And we are so happy that it has been very clear this morning. And want to also add our voices that let's consider investment in maintenance and management. Those will also help us extend the life of our infrastructure. On this note, we congratulate you and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We really appreciate your comments and your input on there. Okay. So now I'm going to call on our registrar for Engineering Council, Engineer Isaac Bedu, for him to also give us the perspective from the Engineering Council.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon to you all. I think we have to commend the Ghana Institution of Engineering for the great work done. This is bold and this is great. Let's put our hands together for them. It's not easy to, consider about 7 sectors and then come up with a report like this. This is a very bold report, and I'm very happy. But as a practitioner, how do you situate yourself in this report? For me, that is what is important. We've looked at all this, and we've seen that we are not scoring well. D3 is not good enough. But as practitioners, what is our contribution? Are we performing well? If we are performing well, then we should be pushing this score a little bit higher than we are seeing. So I will encourage us as practitioners for us to look at the report. When you read the report, you situate yourself in it and see what contribution, how am I contributing in improving my sector? Not just reading and saying funding is not there, policymakers are not making right policies and all that. But if you produce water and you lose 50%, is it the policymaker? What about you, the engineer, the professional? There, what are you doing to make sure that you are not having those losses? So I will encourage us as practitioners, as a regulator, I'm emphasizing on the practitioners. Situate yourself and make sure that the next time we come, we are scoring higher. We are improving on our professionalism, we are improving on our integrity, and we are making sure that engineering is soaring higher. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Engineer Badu. And I would love to call all the various representatives that we invited to give a comment, but I'm very conscious of time. So I would take any 2 other comments or responses from the general audience. Engineer Kenneth Ashibe, I said I wanted to hear your voice, so you are my first person. But aside him, any other 2 comments, any other 2 people who may want to comment? So say if you stand up for me, any other person, so after Engineer Kenneth Ashibe, we will come to you. Please, if you want to say something, then kindly let us know. We'll start off with Engineer Kenneth Ashibe, then we'll move on as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. I think this is great work that has been done. For too long in the country, we keep on making policies, regulations without empirical basis. And I think that is the great thing that has been done in this particular work. And I'm hoping that all of us, would figure out how we use that to change the status quo. On the issues around water, the big thing in there's no way we're going to, even in power as well, there's an issue around hydro. Then when it comes to power, water, I'm not sure we looked at quality. If we looked at quality, the quality would be extremely low. And the reason is just because of leadership failure. The fact that we're not dealing with this issue of Galamsey is the reason why we're not getting hydro to come up, is the reason why water is suffering. So we really need to confront that. Then on telecoms as well, we talk about the issues around coverage, we talk about the issues, but one of the biggest challenges we have is usage gap. You might have places where you have at least a minimum of 3G, but in terms of data usage, that's also absent. But the recommendations that you see in telecoms, I'm hoping that the Ministry of Communication will take it. Because when you start looking at the issues around affordability, that would also drive the issues around coverage, would drive the issues around investment. It is how much we price our spectrum. It's really a major thing. And another very important thing is the fixed networks. It is really important that we push that up. There's no country that has developed only on the back of mobile. Mobile is good, but fixed is very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Engineer Kenneth Ashibe. And please, I'll come over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. All protocols observed. I am Alpha Suleiman from Accra here. So basically, I thank everybody for coming in here. When the Honorable Chairperson was talking on the podium, she made mention that the government cannot do it alone. We all have to partner. So we need the government to honor their words. Whenever we come in for partnership, they should not drive us away. This is what I'm going to say. I mean, you might see us to be very small, but we could probably bring a lot of solutions to the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very short and sweet. And I can tell the appetite is there, the eagerness is there for us all to work together. So in the absence of seeing any other hands, we'll move on very quickly to the main reason why we are here. And as Engineer Bakwe was doing his presentation, I saw a lot of you with your phones taking pictures of the graph. So we're going to move to a very important sector. We are actually going to launch this report card. And then once we launch the report card and unveil it, you can have one for yourself. I want all of us in this room to become advocates for this report card, for we to go out there and spread the news. Let people know the work that has been done. And then let's challenge ourselves to see how we bridge the gap. So on this note, I want to call on our chairperson again to help us formally launch the book. So please, if Honorable will join me on stage, and I believe if they can bring that here so we can formally launch. Secretary, if you can assist me with bringing our launch table to the center, then our Honorable can help us launch it. Yes, please. All right. So, Mr. President, oh yes, okay. So the chairman for the occasion. So we have our chairperson here, and she will be joined by our president, Engineer Ludwig Ananhesse, to formally launch this our book. So our president will be joining us virtually. The vice president will stand in his stead on here. Mr. President, are you still with us?
I'm with you.
Oh,
Madam.
fantastic. So we want our president, our chairperson, and the president, and our vice president standing here as well. We've called our ED to the stand as well for them to officially launch the report card. So we'll start with the unveiling of the report card. And Madam Chair, once you say it's officially launched, then we do the unveil, right? So let me hand over the mic.
So we officially launched this report card, bearing in mind the heavy work that has gone into it. Let us read this with objectivity. Let us accept. I have to accept. Let us accept the constructive criticisms, and let's move our country forward in the right direction. Thank you. Now it is duly launched.
Thank you. So we'll move on very quickly to the unveiling, and give a round of applause. Give a round of applause. Thank you so much, our Deputy Minister. We truly appreciate you. Oh, it's a cake. Mekase buku. Sorry. Oh, is that a cake? Oh, we are yet to cut. Oh, so we cut the books. In the name of the Father, the name of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Please give it up. This book is officially, duly launched. And I see all of you having a look at it. Do you want a copy? Do you want a copy? You have an opportunity to get a copy. But we want to see how really you want this copy. So on that note, I'm going to call on our immediate past president, Engineer Kwame Bimpong. Hey, Kwabna, my sister Nadine, I'm so sorry. Engineer Kwabna Bimpong, to help us so that we auction. So we see that you put your money where your mouth is. How much you put towards this report card will show us how serious we all are to rally behind it. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I think that in the future, we'll have to start with the auction before we go into all the technical parts. Because now you've gotten all the information. So what is the motivation of getting the book? But I must say something. You know, this morning when I woke up and I was thinking about the launch of this important infrastructure report card, the word that dropped in my heart, which obviously was said by Socrates during his trial for impiety and youth corruption. He says that an unexamined life is not worth living. There's a need for introspection. There's a need for you sometimes to sit back and look at yourself and ask the very difficult questions. And these are the questions that we as a professional group has asked, and we have asked these very important questions. And you know, just before we started our discussion, we were talking to the Honorable Minister, and you know, I like her, the way she thinks about things. You know, there are some people who are too overly political. and I'm not mentioning names. Look, we are in this job together. And I remember about 2 years ago, one political actor said that the objectives of the politician and the engineer are the same, except that the path that we want to take, he has or she has only 4 years, and you are starting with all the nice, reports, and then the feasibility, the slow motion. In slow motion. And I remember Dr. Boachi says that we sometimes operate at geological speed. Because the geologists will say that, in the past 500,000 years, oh, come on, we want the team 4 years, he said 500 years. But during the, again, I'm giving my comment. I've started though, so I'm just warming up. Somebody said something, and that is where I'm going to build it from. He talked about the fact that you are going to use our documents. You are going to use our documents in budget decision. We have done the M&E for you and for everyone in this country. And this M&E, I am a consultant, and this work, consultants, we like reports. This, how many pages? 48, 41. 41. This one is some millions of dollars. But a lot of people have sacrificed their time. The work that we do is time consuming, but we do it for Mother Ghana. A lot of the time we are not appreciated, but it is okay. Once you know that you are doing it well and you are doing it right, don't worry about what others will say. But then it is also important that the experience of those who we work for is taken into account. What am I saying? We are not going to charge you for our time. This was done by a number of people. They have volunteered. But then, in doing that volunteering work, obviously they had to go by vehicle, they had to buy fuel, we have to do analysis, we have to pay our staff, all this air conditioning. Even this lunch is costing us more than 30,000 cedis. Is that not correct? So at least let us meet the institution halfway. We don't generate anything. It is only subscription. Okay, so please, this document is going to help you, and I'm sure this probably will help you generate a few million or billion Ghana cedis. So I would want us to put some money into, those of you who are saying nice things. Dr. Wachu say, "Ukasa bebrebe, say ekaba ubetia, enti ekano eyaba." Please, you don't want it to be a burden on us. And before I came here, my president-elect subtly warned me that I shouldn't volunteer anybody, because the last time I did it, I volunteered some people. But I have a friend here whom I can volunteer because I took over from him at the Ghana Consulting Engineers Association. So, Engineer Magnus Lincoln Kwashi, you are going to start. How much are you giving me? Delin Consult is giving us, put our hands together for him. And my boss is here. You see, I start from home. So that when I come to you, I always do something. When I'm building and I'm in charge, actually, even when I was doing my own house, I was very brutal on myself. And you know why? So that when I get you, no passion, no mercy for. Okay, you see, nowadays you have to be careful. No mercy for the person with disability. You see, I put it in another way. So, Akon, 20,000 Ghana cedis. Hey, this one is coming from my board chair. I'm the CEO of Akon. So, at least when we go for board meeting, it will not be that the CEO, no. It will not be the case of the woman that you gave me. Hey, Chief, you spoke, oh, you spoke very well. And you did very well too. So I think that you deserve, we have to give you space because I know, are you the one who said was giving 50 or something? Or it's not the one? Because somebody whispered to me. The whole ministry, shall I give it to you? And will you take?
Within the ministry, we'll come back. So I'll take it for 5K.
Oh, put your hands together for him. So we are getting somewhere. I think that now we have been able to pay for today's lunch. So now let us get into the real thing. Okay, please. Who else? I don't want to volunteer you. Okay, GHIS. That was my mate in school. So, okay, thank you very much.
5,000.
5,000. Who else? Architecture? Your madam is here, so you have to show that you are in charge. How much is that? 3,000. Well done. We appreciate that. Which institution? Senior. What are you saying? Never. Shall I give it to you, and will you take? Okay, great.
So I indicated that it is going to guide our budget decisions. But we need commitment authorization to commit ourselves.
Oh, this man is... Okay, Madam, you are the only minister here. Would you say, okay, will you give him that commitment authorization on behalf of the minister? No, it doesn't matter. Minister is minister.
Even I have to go for commitment authorization.
Okay. Fida Rose. Hey, Brimpong. We're in this all together. Director.
One for now. But we are giving 10,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have the Ghana Highway Authority here? Okay, MRH. Where is it for? Hey, boss. I see you. Thank you. You can call me. I'm going on. I know. I saw you doing well. Well, you've done well. I saw you. But you know, when you leave GHIE, you're a big man. Oh. So we have to say something. Personal. You see, even if you want to do personal ones. Okay. We don't have time, so please, I'm not going to take too much of your time. We are not saying anything. Aviation, they are here. 5,000 from the Ghana
Engineering Council, 5,000.
Please, even if you don't have the money here, we'll give you a pledge form. Who did you come with? Airport. GACL. Hello, sir. I like the fact that you have gray hair like mine, but your thing is not gray.
Yes, I was actually waiting to get a comment. I think I got a message that a special one is going to be given to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to study it. Okay. And I'm happy that I'm here to take it for him. Definitely I'm going to get it. So I'll keep this one and I'll come back to you.
You know, when Dr. Bekri was making the presentation, I told him, hey, this man, he sounds like Dr. Bawumia. He says, you know, the data, and it is possible, and all those, you know, things. So, so please tell him that there's a gentleman here who was using data. You know, every decision was driven or is driven by data. Prof, the way you are laughing, what are you? This one is personal to you. You are advisor. Look, I've not forgotten you. That's what I already told you. So,
10,000.
Okay, 1,000. This is personal.
10,000.
10,000. Shy. 10. Put your hands together for him. So far, nobody has gone beyond 20,000 from Akon. 50,000. Okay. NDPC. Oh, you're another one. I don't know whether I'm seeing right. Don't you think this one will be very helpful too? You come for bulk. Okay, so we'll wait. Anybody else? Emma Rich, I've not forgotten. No. Madam. Please, guys. You can go and give it to. Okay. When you go to. Okay, please. 5,000 from Engineer Aye. Please bring him a form. Ministry of Roads and Highways, you go for commitment authorization. Oh, sorry. From Ministry of Finance. From Ministry of Finance. Chief, have I given you one? And would you want to take one? Hey. Okay. Please, do we have any? I don't know whether I don't want to discriminate because otherwise they will say that this thing to Bui. You see, there are ways of doing it. It is either a positive influence. You just go and say, "Oh, I went and I did this on your behalf." They'll be very happy. Boss Pinto. Wait a minute, no, but you know, I'll come for the money later. Thank you very much. Who else? Who? Oh, yes.
From the Ministry
of
Works and Housing.
Oh, okay.
5K.
5K. Thank you very much. Who else? Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry.
That's 5K.
5K. Wonderful. Masa, you just look into my face more. Okay, now we are going the individual ones. Individuals. 1,000. 1,000, If you can give us 1,500. Thank you very much. Your name?
Engineering Department, Ghana Gas, 1,000.
Is it for yourself or for the?
It's for the department.
Oh, no, my brother. This one there. Ghana Gas, please come again. I beg you. Think through. Are you also from Ghana Gas?
Yes, sir. Commitment.
No, you are a private organization.
We'll come back.
You are private. Okay.
We'll come back.
Please.
I'll come back to you for management.
You'll come back. Who else? These are for the individual copies. So say you drew a to 4 ball, and I just had the canon. A to 4 ball. So please, this 1,000. Take it round. Edie, why are you looking at me like that? You don't have to be bashful about money. That's why I said we should have started with that, because everything revolves around money. Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who are online, please, you can bring, I want to make, please, can you show me those who are online? Because I think I saw Dr. Boachi, he's also in the US. Doc, and then say Akwabwa. Hey, Kalian too is online. I can see all of them. Hey, Michael, policy analyst, and you are online. What are you saying? Please, those who want to make a commitment, put it in the chat box. Your full name and then your number and then the amount. Where is Nsako? Eric. Where is he? He's gone. Okay. Eric, I've seen you.
There is a book for the collection.
Where is it? Okay, I understand there's a Google form on the chat. So in the chat box, you can go there and then fill. Those of you who are online, we don't want to leave you. Okay, so well, I guess we've had it's 1 o'clock, and I would like to thank you all for coming, and if you need a copy or copies, you can get or go to the secretariat. This is very good material, and it will help us in. And for the journalists, I think that you all need to take one each. Channel 1, TV3. Will give them free copies. 200 CDs. 200 CDs. So, later. Okay, later I will give them. Okay. So thank you very much for the opportunity to do this. And I know that we have done very well as an institution, but then we can also do better going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll move on very swiftly with our program. Before you leave here, don't come here and leave empty-handed, okay? If you feel like the 200 CDs is too small, that's okay. Let us have more. If you check whatever is in your pockets, but a minimum 200 CDs, so you can take one of these report cards with you. If you also want to take the pledge to your company so that you pledge for a bit more, please let us know. We'll give you the pledge, and you just have to return it to us. The media will speak to you about... Oh, Engineer Dr. Kwame Boachi wants to say something. And Dr. Kwame Boachi, is he in Ghana now? Oh, that means his pledge will be in dollars. Please let him speak. Engineer Dr. Kwame Boachi, over to you, sir.
Good morning from here. I guess good afternoon over there. This is a great, piece of work, and I think we should all support it. And definitely, I would like to, pledge, 1,000 Ghana cedis to buy one of the reports, and thank the team for a wonderful job that they have done. And as Kwabena said, so that's my contribution, to the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Boachi. And I think for us as organizers, let us make him talk more. Let us make him talk more so that he'll pay more. But Dr. Kwame Boachi, in his defense, he turned 80, he's in his pension years, so the 1,000 CDs will convert it back door and encourage him to change the currency. But once he does that, we'll get the book to him. Thank you so much. I believe we don't have any hands on there. Thank you so much. So let's move on very quickly.
Just make sure that you don't treat those of us online as orphans.
It's true. Next time we should have made it more interactive and then taken more of the comments from online as well. It's a fair point, Dr. Kwame Boachi. Very, very well noted. And we will ensure and do better next time. So we move on very quickly to our closing session, and we'll be out of here very soon. I want to call back Honorable Mrs. Gisela Agbotui, Teta Agbotui, yes, to come and give us her closing remarks, after which we'll move on to the vote of thanks. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be in the midst of colleagues, and there's a lot to discuss, there's a lot to analyze, there's a lot to debate on, and I think we should take all this in good faith and improve on what we do. Because, you know, as consultants, effectively, those of you even in public service, tell me you don't do private work. You do. As consultants, as engineers, as architects, as surveyors, you need to exert your authority. This scorecard is a reflection of us as well. This scorecard is a reflection of the contractors, Sherry's group. Sherry, you should have said something. This scorecard is not only a reflection on the government over the period, it's a reflection on everybody. If you supervise well, the works will come out well. As Engineer Ludwig said, do it right. I was even say build it right. Some time ago, that's what we're saying in the Ghana Institute of Architects. Build it right. And it will stand the test of time. Because a lot of it depends on us. And I think we should own up to that as engineers. If the road's lifespan is not long enough, or it doesn't meet our expectation, who is the largest group of, if you profile HR in a ministry of, say, roads, what is the largest group of professionals? It's engineers. It's not the accountants. It's not the HR. It is engineers. So this is a reflection of us. But let's look at it in a positive way. Because now you need to know where we are starting from and where we want to get to. I'm sure the next time you do the scorecard, roads will improve because of the Big Push program. I'm sure the next time you do the scorecard, energy will improve because of, I know that this year, for example, they are taking 4 regions. They're doing intensification. They are doing, and this I'm speaking as an MP because I know I'm also going to get some in my constituency. Communities that don't have electricity at all, who have never had, they are working on those in some of the regions. Extensions, these are things that the ordinary people need in their communities. And I know that they're getting that. At the end of the day also is the cost of all these infrastructure and the utilities that we are providing. From the water sector, as I was sitting there, I've sent the MD of Ghana Water a scorecard on water. And he was just telling me some of the things that we are putting in place. So everybody has a role to play and everybody has a responsibility to make things better. And in doing so, there are times when you may have some threats, but you must stand up to them. I remember when I used to work with Steve Akufu and Associates. We were supervising some renovation, retrofitting of a bank. And I told the contractor we were changing the windows on the 2nd level, and I told him to hold it off, just in case it rains. He said, oh, it won't rain. And this guy had been a manager in the bank before, so he felt that he rather commandeered the space. I was a young architect working with Steve. And Mr. Akufu used to let you go and face the people yourself. That night, it rained heavily. The next morning, the bank called me, Madam, come and see what has happened. And I called the contractor. I said, you see what I told you? Instructions, some are given verbally, and some are written. At this point, I gave you an instruction less than 12 hours before. You didn't take it. So I told the bank that this is very simple. You should list everything that is fault. Everything. And I'll deduct it, evaluate, I'll deduct it from the contractor's certificate. Hey, come and see what he wanted to do to me. And I said, no, that is the reality. He says, oh, but the fax machine, this is, what do you call, what's the word you use? Depreciated. And I said, but it was working. But it was working. Even if it was old, it was working. The computer, it was working. So now that you cost water to flood the office, from the carpets to the computers and everything, you're going to have to pay. And he said, look at this small girl, what she's telling me. And he went to see my boss. My boss said, she's the one supervising the job, so go back to her. So when I told him that I was going to deduct the money from his certificates, the next time on site, I saw him. And I saw he was a thick, tall guy. So he was literally coming towards me like this. I didn't know. I thought there was somebody behind me. When I checked, There was no one. So I realized the guy is coming on me. Hey. So I realized that, no, this one, when I look at his face, so one of his foremen held him back. He said, you're this small girl. What do you mean? You think you can? And I said, I looked back and I saw that I was the only one. I said, you can't do anything. Me too, I said, my mouth. I said, there's nothing you can do. And there was just glass behind me because of the tall glass pane behind me. I said, you can't do anything. This thing, you will pay for it. And it was a shouting match between me and him. But I stood my ground at 29. And I said, this one, you are going to pay. After that time, when he sees me, he gave me my respect. And before then, whenever we have materials to approve, because he was a bank manager before, he would go and see the client and say, I've brought this tile sample. I think this is what we should use for the bathroom. This is what we use for the washrooms. I've brought this carpet sample. This is what we should use for. I said, this guy still doesn't get it, that I am the person in charge on this site. And the approval must come from me. So when I noticed that, I allow him to go everywhere. And then I asked the client that, I understand some samples have been brought to you, but I've not approved them. So let them come back to me. Oh, you're not? Oh, I didn't know that. I said, no, I've not approved them. So then the man has to carry everything back to me. You got to exert your authority on the contractors that you work with. However old you are, however friendly you are with them. Because at the end of the day, you are getting paid, and they are also getting paid. And whoever is the client should not be shortchanged. The client should feel that they've got value for money. They've got value for paying you to supervise well, and they've got value for paying the contractor to also construct it well. So colleagues, this is my little piece of advice to remind ourselves of the powerful position that we are in as supervisors. And we have all this, we've gone to school, we've acquired the knowledge. You have that authority in you. But be careful of familiarity. Be careful of whatever backdoor arrangements are made, because otherwise you cannot stand up to anybody who you need to stand up to. Things are expensive. CAPEX is every ministry's heaviest segment of the budget. And when the CAPEX translates to this, then you know that we are all found wanting, and there's much more we need to do. I will just end on the part of aviation. It seems to be the most successful part, and Messiah is smiling. I used to be on the board of the airport company and the board of Ghana Civil Aviation. And it is during our term in 2015, 2013, when we thought of how to do Terminal 3. Because we said that as a board, our marching orders were that we should put up a new airport at Pram Pram. But when we came to the first board meeting, management did a presentation. Runway utilization was just 38%. It didn't make sense to now go and leave this and go and have a new airport at Pram Pram. By the time all was said and done, we all agreed that we need a good front door for our country. And that front door was Terminal 3. When government changed, the project stalled. But because of, I would say, the good mechanisms that were put in place, the structure of it. I remember when we got about 80% funding, the board chair was Tony Litha. He's a lawyer. And I said, but Tony, we've got 80%. Why don't we start? Because we don't have time. He said, no, Gizzy, we need to get 100% of the funding before we start anything. I didn't really agree with him. But on hindsight, when government changed and the funding was there, 100%, and then there were delays because government said the next government said they were going to audit, and you know the usual things that are done. And the lenders started shaking the table. Nobody said, get back to site and continue the work. And that is how Terminal 3 survived. That period ended up as a premier terminal that we all use. Unfortunately, it was never commissioned. That was more for political reasons than for otherwise. And I think somebody from GACL is here, so he knows what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, we must take pride in the infrastructure that we preside over. Whether you are on a board, whether you are actually the engineer supervising, whether you brought the funding, whatever it is that you have arranged, let us take pride in it. It must be successful. And it's successful is not successful for you alone. It's successful for everybody who needs to use that facility from this country and from outside. On that note, on behalf of Honorable Kenneth Gilbert Eji, I thank you very much for this opportunity to engage again. Colleagues, this has been a very worthy time spent together. Let us be advocates of good infrastructure, and let us be advocates of smart infrastructure. The recent floods has shown the weaknesses in a lot of things. It's not only about works on housing, flooding. There are systemic weaknesses that we all need to address. So I think we can do this together. Do we agree? May God bless us all. Thank you.
I think she has said it all, so there's nothing else to add. Where we are doing well, let's take pride in those, learn from that, share the best practices across all these sectors, and let's improve. Let us meet here again in 3 years' time, and this time seeing an upward trend in all the 8 sectors that were evaluated today. I'd like to call on Ms. Akosua Pokuya Amponsa to give us the vote of thanks. Ms. Akosua, are you around? Yes, please. And as she comes, it was mentioned that she's not a member of GHIE because she's not an engineer, but she can be a companion member. You know what companion member is? So we'll talk, eh? Okay, hold on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson, past presidents present, council members, president, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored and privileged to deliver the vote of thanks of this occasion. First and foremost, my sincere gratitude goes to Almighty God, the Master Engineer, for giving us this beautiful day to grace this occasion. On behalf of the entire committee, I would like to extend my gratitude to the chairperson, the council of members, the president of GHIE, all honorable dignitaries present, members of the entire engineering fraternity, and all invited guests present for taking time of your busy schedule to be with us today. To the committee members, thank you all for your tireless hard work in bringing out this report. God bless us all and make Ghana proud. Thank you.
So all too soon, we've come to the end of our program. I'm just going to outline the next new steps. So after this, we're going to be taking the closing prayer. And after the closing prayer, we'll take a group photo in here. Those online, we'll ask you to turn on your cameras. And then those here, we will all move to the front and we'll take a group photo. So I don't know if we want to start moving the table so that we can start to prepare for that. After taking the group photograph, we're going to move on with a media interclass, some interaction, and a networking event. And I just want to let everybody know where they are going. So there's a bit of refreshments that have been planned for everyone. So starting with all past presidents, ministry reps, directors, CEOs, professional body reps, and their presidents or executive directors, you will all go to the council chamber, and I think there'll be a rep here to guide you there. All media are to stay in this room, and then Mr. Abbey will look after you. And then everyone else will then proceed downstairs to the Secretariat's entrance where you'll be looked after as well. So I'll repeat that. All past presidents, ministry reps, directors, CEOs, professional body reps, their presidents and their executive directors, we will all go to the council chamber. And then the media will stay in this room and everyone else will proceed downstairs to the Secretariat entrance, and we will make sure that we attend to all of you. On that note, can I call Engineer Dr. Charles Asafo-Adjei? Engineer Dr. Charles Asafo-Adjei to come and give us the closing prayer.
Thank you very much. Already the minister blessed us before she sat down. And also, I've been also thank God for what has happened so far. May we bow down our head. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Almighty God, the supreme engineer and architect of the universe, the creator and sustainer of all things, we thank you for a successful, honest, and impactful launch of the 2026 Ghana Infrastructure Report Card today. We thank you for the wisdom, unity, and the shared purpose that brought us together at the engineering centers today. Lord, today we have looked into the mirror and seen our reflection, an overall score of 2.83, a grade D3. We accept this honest diagnostic not with discouragement, but as a divine call to action. We pray that you grant our leaders, policymakers, engineers, and all other stakeholders the integrity, wisdom, and resolve to improve our national capacity, restore our physical conditions, and secure sustainable funding, instill within us a true culture of maintenance and stewardship so that we move beyond temporary fixes and truly build with resilience and innovation. Bless the Ghana Institution of Engineers, all other sisters institutions that came here, our leaders. As we lead this charge, grant everyone gathered here travel mercies back to our respective destination and keep our nation in perfect peace. In your most holy and majestic name, we ask this thing through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much. So if I can kindly ask you all to move to the front so that we will take a group photo. And then we will officially begin our networking session. So if you can kindly make your way to the front. Those online, if you turn on your cameras for us, we want you to be part of this occasion. We want to say a massive thank you to all the media houses. We want to challenge you and encourage you. As you go out there, please go advocate for this. Let's talk about Ghana's infrastructure report card. Let's hold everyone accountable. Let us promote so that we are all ready to move our nation forward. So if we can kindly take a picture. If I can ask all others to climb up here. We'll have our dignitaries sitting in the front. And then those of us can come back on the stage here and take a group photo. And those online, please keep your cameras on. Brefo, if you can take screenshots of the Zoom link so we see those online as well, even as we take a group photo. Fantastic. And please, who is our main photographer? Mr. Odenke, him. All right, so we'll be taking directions from our young gentleman in the striped shirt. Oh, or is it? Check. Whoa.